thought the difference the second half, our defense was good. We hit a couple. I think Tyus hit one, Frank hit one. We got a little space. But they're a really good team. They come at you just about as hard as you can come and play. But I thought we did a lot of good things. We're missing. We can't miss 11 free throws. I told the players, I said, every game in this league is going to be like this. There's nothing easy. It's going to be difficult every time you come to play.
You talk about the difference Pascal makes you guys. Double-digit rebounds, 2 straight games.
Yeah, rebounding and his defense is good. He blocked 3, but he changed some shots today. He's just got to finish better under the basket. O'Shea has got to concentrate on being physical and get inside and rebounding the ball. He's still missing around the basket. He can convert those.
Do you feel like the team's starting to come into shape? People are falling into roles and figuring it out?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, Pittsburgh, they're a good team. They play hard. They played the entire 40 minutes hard, even towards the end. So we have to be ready to play every single game, and I think this team is starting to understand that now.
Has there been any change for you as far as feeling a little more comfortable out there, feeling a little more aggressive? What's changed for you?
I'm just getting used to playing in there and getting used to the speed, most importantly, not as much playing in there, but just getting used to the speed. It's a different level of play, and just making sure I'm in good shape to get my shots up and get open and create for my shot. So that's probably the biggest adjustment, and just getting used to that, and it'll take time, I know that.
Welcome to the Cuse Militia Podcast with those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
All right, what's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. If you like it, please subscribe. The universal handle for the socials is @Cuse Militia. Go there, join the militia. We are the only Syracuse sports podcast centered around giving you, the fans, a voice. All right, so Syracuse survives Pitt at home, 74-63, and they improved to 13-5 overall and 4-1 in the ACC. That moves them up from 50 to 47 in the net rankings. You'll hear from us. We'll hear from you in the fan feedback top 10 in Miami. Comes to the Dome January 24th at 8 p.m. Another 8 p.m. game that Joe just loves so much. I know he's a big fan of those. But first, before we get into all that fun stuff, let's talk about Tix Blitz. Listen, I know all of you listening need tickets to something somewhere at some point. This is a great sponsor because it's a sponsor everybody could use. They are the official ticket provider for the Armchair Media Network, where Joe and I cover Syracuse basketball and football for. And unlike other ticketing providers, they don't sneak the extra fees and unexplained service charges in. So whatever you see at Tix Blitz is the price you pay. There's no unnecessary fees, nothing to prevent you from seeing the sporting event or concert that you want to go to. Go to tixblitz.com and enter the promo code ARMCHAIR at checkout to receive 5% off of your total ticket purchase. That's TIXBLITZ.com, promo code ARMCHAIR. Tix Blitz, guaranteed seats, guaranteed emotions. Okay, so I've got a Cooper Dawson interview coming up that's going to come out sometime this week. Probably, I might put it up tomorrow. Maybe it's all ready to go. It's just waiting, and I'll put it up maybe tomorrow night, tomorrow evening, or Tuesday. I don't know, but look for that. So it'll be out before the next game. Put it that way. And then I was looking at where some of the downloads were coming from, and I thought that there was a couple close to Slovakia. I'm like, is this like Mark's family or what the hell's going on? So it's like Kazakhstan, and they're spread all over the Middle East too and everything. And I think it's troops. So I should have put that together a long time ago. So if there's any troops listening, thank you. For listening overseas like that, that means a ton to us that you come to this podcast to get your Syracuse sports fix. So shout out to all of them. We really appreciate everything that you do over there. And if we can give you some piece of home, I'm honored to do that for those guys.
Yeah, I would have loved something like this when I was over there.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Exactly. That was technology wasn't even close, was it?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, all right, well, Syracuse improves They are 70-45 in the all-time series against Pitt with a win at home. This recap is brought to us by JP Mulligan's. You know the deal. Go to their Facebook page. Give them a like there. Sometimes they give out Syracuse basketball tickets. You don't want to miss that. Happy hour every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6. Trivia Tuesdays, every NFL game. That's wrapping up, but they're still doing it. And, of course, they play
the wings.
Every Syracuse game. Grab some wings. Hang out with other
great wings,
fans.
great burgers, great people.
Yeah, so that is that. Syracuse wins at home in front of 24,466 fans. That's the largest on-campus crowd this season. And how about Buddy Boeheim hitting his first 4 threes? He went 4 for 5 overall, and his shots all came from distance, from behind the arc. He finished with a season-high 13, and actually, he followed up Tyus Battle, who led the team with 22 points. He shot 52.9%, and the fire under Battle continues to burn. I think, he's been slow to get started the past couple games, but once he got rolling, man, it was just lights out for him. I think, he just needs to get started quicker, and, it's just the matter of doing it. I think Chuku 2.0 is here to stay, Joe. What do you think?
I'm hoping so.
I mean,
looks pretty good the last couple games, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's been looking good. I think he gets the start.
It's pretty solid.
I think he
had a couple, but
he had a couple bad passes, and like I was just going to say that. I think he gets the start, barring a bad practice, despite the bad passes. Leading up to Thursday, we'll see what happens. But I think he gets to start again as long as he has.
Yeah, he had enough good plays to make up for it. So.
Yeah, and I think Jim, he really looks to practice too. Practice good, play good. He finished with 11 points and 11 rebounds and 6 points. Brissett is a mystery to me right now, and we went through this last year. I just think he's better than what he shows us every game. 4 for 11 from the field. He ended up with 11 points, and only for the third time this year, Hughes is kept under double digits. He scored 8 points. Howard was solid with 10 points and 5 assists, and our guy Dolajai didn't break the scoreboard, but he's got 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks coming off the bench. Now the good and the bad of it. The Orange, they shot 46.3 from the floor, and they shot 12 out of 26 of their threes. That's 46.2%. And I'm not saying that there won't be another bump in the road or anything like that with the shooting that we see here and there, but slowly improving. And I'm hoping that this becomes the norm soon. This constant, the consistency to the offense. Now. Expect the Syracuse basketball team when they hit practice this week to be standing at the free throw line, because the bad of it is this: 12 for 23 from the free throw line is 52.2%. That's not going to get it done. You heard Coach in the coach montage, 11 miss. That's just awful. Pitt turned 14 Syracuse turnovers into 19 points, and we got smoked on the boards, 44-36. So, Joe, in some of the early concern with the way Syracuse had been shooting the ball, especially from 3, do you see this becoming a thing of the past? Can they keep it up? Is it a matchup thing? I mean, how do you look at it?
Well, it's definitely a matchup thing, but again, I think it's just a confidence thing. They have the talent. Jim Boeheim, again, he said that we've gotten the shots that we've wanted all year, and it's just a matter of making them, and we've just been making them more recently than we've been missing them, We had the one-off game there with Georgia Tech, and other than that, we've looked pretty good. And, even if you have, Elijah Hughes under 10, and, again, other people not blowing up the scoreboard. Just we've been playing good D. We played really good D. And really, we're rebounding and free throw shooting away from, this being a blowout. So we had some things that I think made up for it. Obviously, having 8 steals, 10 blocks. And, we really played as a team. 17 assists is pretty good. So, again, we're just seeing the offense get a little bit better, and we're obviously getting a little bit more offense off of our defense, with the steals and blocks. You have 18 steals and blocks combined, you're definitely going to be able to have some transition points, get out there and be able to get some points. So, again, it was a good win, and I think it kind of went the way I thought it was going to. Pittsburgh, they came out, they played tough. They got really good defense. They got some young guards. Team's only going to get better. Wilson Frame came off the bench and played good and shot, I think he had 19 points. So they're definitely going to be, they're not an easy out in the ACC. We still got to play them again at their place, so we'll see what happens. But again, I think that just our defense kind of overwhelmed their players at times with turnovers and stuff. And I'm just glad that we got the W, 4-1 in the ACC, 13-5 overall. Just got to get that last game that we were talking about in that 6-game stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult going back to it's definitely going to be difficult going back to Pittsburgh to play them. Some people just don't get the hint sometimes. So he called me back 3 times. So it's going to be tough going back to the Zoo. That's a difficult place to play. I mean, that's another small venue that can be raucous, and the Zoo, and we know all that stuff. But with the way that Syracuse slipped in the second half, the end of the first half. They had developed a pretty decent lead. Chuku sparked some momentum with a bad pass. That was thrown up for a 3. It was a catch and shoot basically. And then from there, I think they closed out 9. They went on a 9-0 run or something like that at the end of the half, or at the end of the first half. So, and then almost the same thing happened at the end of the second half. So, we got up to like 20 points at one point. And then, you're sitting there at the end of the game going, probably not going to lose this, but it's a little too close for comfort. So being able to close the games out, I think, we've seen it, but it hasn't happened in, I guess Notre Dame. That's it for conference play. But
usually it doesn't though, So
I know, and like Coach said, these games are not going to be easy from here on out. They're not going to be easy. But we were talking about how, we just are going to break these up into 3 segments of 6, and heading into, Miami, we're already going to be a third of the way through this. It's going so fast. Heading into Miami, that's Thursday. And then the next segment, the next 2 segments are tough. They're tough. And I don't see us
tougher than the first, but that's why it's important to finish it off and go 5-1.
I know, go 5-1, and just think what could have been. Think of what could have been if we can beat Miami, going 6-0 to start in the ACC. So, not going to be any easy games in the ACC. So, what'd you think of Buddy though? I mean, he's finally starting to kind of, get his stroke. He was bringing defenders out, and he's going to be able to do that. I think the more and more he gets used to going out there and being able to be someone that can spread it out a little bit and get some people open down low. He had Mark Dolezaj. I mean,
well, every single time. I mean, how many times is there a guy that we play against that token substitute guy that comes off the bench and shoots a bunch of threes against us, and
just like 3-4
so I mean, as long as he can, I'm sure that he wants any type of role, especially as a freshman. So if he has the confidence like he did, came off the bench, and I mean, he just looked like he was ready to go, made the first one, and he was just kind of on fire for a little bit there. And again, if he can come in and do that, I mean, that gives you a little bit of a weapon. You can try it once in the first half, once in the second half, whatever. See if he's hitting a couple, if he's on, if he's not, take him out after a little bit of a go, and he ended up playing 19 minutes. So, obviously he was worth staying out there with these shots he was making and stuff. So, that can definitely help when it comes down the road,
And they took Tyus, and the coach took Tyus and turned him into a shooting guard, basically, where he said in his press conference, if you didn't hear it, that he wasn't really running the offense. More or less what he was doing was starting with the ball so that he didn't have to get open to get the ball. Yeah. And he was basically creating his own shots, which he looks good doing. By the way, I mean, he scored 10, 12 points doing that. To get him started, he hadn't scored at all until they put him in that role.
Yeah.
So bringing the ball up, and he's got the ball.
And that's his spot straight on and around the free throw line and a little bit beyond there.
Yeah, 17, 18 foot. Yeah.
Yep. So
a good game. I think they overcame some adversity. That's always good to see. There's some runs there where they could have easily just let kind of get out of control, and they didn't.
Well, yeah. I mean, we had the lead, and then, Pitt started following, really, really early, like 2 minutes almost. So they were trying to extend the game as long as possible. So that's why, it ended up being a little bit closer than what it was, especially because we were shooting free throws the way that we were shooting. But, again, we ended up making enough shots to hold the lead and win the game, So.
Yeah. All right, well, let's do some fan feedback. What do you say?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House, the best damn college sports fans in the nation.
All right, you guys know the deal. Go to @Cuse Militia on the socials, Facebook and Twitter. I always propose a question at the end of every game, asking for your thoughts on what had just transpired. So we're going to start here. I guess we're going to start with some Twitter. And I got a top 10 and a bonus today. Top 10 and a bonus. All right? So here we go. At Joe Catskill, it was a good win. They really had good movement on offense and defense. The era of buddy ball begins. #Go Cuse team is starting to come together. Yeah, you're starting to see chemistry, is what he's saying. We talked about chemistry. We've talked about how they didn't have it. So that's good to see. At Geo Heater, Pascal got the message, people. He's a rebound machine. Buddy played very well when called upon. It was a great day at the Dome and a lot of fun. Loved the football celly in Dino's halftime speech. If anyone was there to see it, he called out Clemson for next year. Goosebumps. Yeah, that was cool seeing Dino out there. And by the way, I noticed, too, Dino threw a ball out into the crowd, and he's a lefty, like me. So that's, most really,
good
really,
for you.
Most really cool people are lefties,
Oh, God.
Oh, good for you. And how?
So, and he can throw a spiral, man. It's tight. So, at Nick Sweetland, this reminds me. I saw this comment, and then I was like, you know what? There was a a review on the podcast, so I might as well just do both of these right now. Before I get to Nick's comment, Nick, you left a 5-star rating and a review. If you go to iTunes and you leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, then you're entered to win some free swag. If I call you out on the air and I read your comment, then you email us at cusemilitia@gmail.com, and what we'll do is we'll send you out some stuff once you email us with your address. So Nick says, best Cuse podcast out there. Wow. Hey, humbling. Thank you. Being a guy from the state of Iowa, you can imagine no one, not a single person ever knows who the Orange are. So when I get a chance to listen to the Cuse Militia and get my updates before and after games, it's a blessing. They also listen to the fans and let them voice their opinions too. I look forward to every show. Keep up the great work, Sean and Joe. Nick, that means a ton to us.
Yes, sir.
We really appreciate you taking the time to do that. And more than anything, the kind words are just, they're humbling. Like I don't know what else to say when you guys leave such nice comments. You're too nice. Nick says, great game. Nice to see when they faced adversity towards the end of the game. They kept the lead around double digits. Mark threw some dimes. Good team win. Keep it rolling. Yeah, Mark with the backdoor pass a few times, and he was slinging it, too.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm surprised some of those were caught. I mean, he was freaking. It was coming out of a cannon. So, impressive. And, Brissett said something along the lines of, I don't know how he does it, but he sees the whole court. And he compared him to Magic Johnson, the way that he sees the court and the way that he knows where everybody is and where they can be and where they will be. So I thought that, hey, whatever. But real cool, to hear his teammates talk about him like that, because he's just a trip, that dude, man. And if you see him after the game, after he's showered and dressed back up, boy, he looks like, he's a meme machine. He's I can't just say it. He's like so 80s rock. It's not funny. All right, I digress. At At Gregorian Rants, Buddy gaining confidence, Chuku gaining confidence, block party out there today. Offense had more movement, and the backdoor cut was brilliant. Missed 11 free throws, though. Yeah, Greg, You're right. The 11th, I was not expecting that at all, especially from Tyus Battle, who went 1 for 4 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
And Chuku was like, he has been so good at hitting his free throws. Well, he's been a little inconsistent this year, but last year, do you remember how well he was hitting his free throws?
I just remember that, there's so many games where it's close and it's just Battle or Brissett and Hughes or Howard, or, it's only 3 of them and you're not getting anything from Chuku or anybody else. So, I mean, anytime that we're going to get, anytime we get stuff from Chukwu and Frank Howard, I think had an all right game, missed a lot of shots, but I think he had an all right game. And obviously the, points from Boeheim, the rebounds and assists and everything that Dozier did. So when we're getting contributions like that from those guys, then, we should win every time.
Whole different team. Different team. At Todd Harris _TH. Team is playing to get to the basket first, and it's really starting to open up quality 3-point shots that the team is starting to knock down at a much higher percentage. If they can consistently play aggressive, it will transform the season. Yeah, that goes back to the chemistry, and if they can just get into the flow, and which is what they did eventually last season. But don't you think, Joe, that with the addition of Hughes and Pascal playing the way he's playing, and Marks obviously improved, it's happening earlier in the year, and we need it to, which is fantastic. But I think it's happening earlier in the year this time around, and we're just going to have to see game by game what happens.
Well, it could have happened a little bit earlier. With all the people with the people that were injured and everything, it's just taken a lot of time with people getting together and trying to get it all together. So, again, Boeheim's going to get it. He's going to figure it out.
Yeah,
we have too much talent for him not to.
Right, he's like the mad scientist out there, just putting ingredients together and throwing people in different combinations out there and seeing what creates a spark, what's going to work and what's not. And, that's why, by the way, Jalen Carey didn't play. It wasn't because it wasn't because of his 3 turnovers in 7 minutes against Duke. It wasn't because he had bad practices. It was simply a matchup thing. He thought that was just not going to work. And he's got those options this year. So when fans don't see someone that they've seen at least for a few minutes every game, they start to wonder. And then that's how the rumors start. And, that's the media does the same thing. Ty on Facebook says Battle needs to watch his attitude with the refs. He's a leader and needs to set the better example. Brissett is playing better. Chuku rebounding with 2 hands and keeping it high. Nice to see Buddy play more minutes. Overall, good game. Steve responded to this. So let me read Steve and then see where you stand, Joe. Okay, I'll give it right to you. He says, Ty, Battle was hacked on the arm twice and no call. He had a right to be upset. I don't think I've ever seen a no call with such an obvious hack on the arm. Buddy isn't ready yet, but improving. No other player at that level would be on the floor. So, we'll see. Really need Howard to get back to normal like he did in the second half versus Duke. So, there's a lot there. Go ahead, Joe. What do you got? The battle with the refs. What do you think?
Well, with battle and the refs, it's the same thing. Sometimes a little bit with Howard too. I feel like you can be emotional when there's a bad call or when you think you got, but you can't really express or really say stuff to the refs because really all it's really going to do is make them upset. You're really not going to. It's not going to help you get calls. And you saw Tyus get called for, I thought, a couple ticky-tack fouls. So. Yes, they missed him, but, let the head coach do it. You can be emotional and not really stare down the ref or talk to the ref or say anything to the ref, and that's kind of where he's got to start doing because, obviously what he's doing really isn't helping him. I know that, some of them should get called, but he's kind of got to just carry himself a little bit better because we don't need him to be getting in foul trouble.
No, we don't, because it seemed like he was just not on the right side of the refs.
Right.
So if
we don't need that. We don't need our star player on the wrong side of the refs.
Right. Maybe say your piece one time. He did get hacked, but he was actually running down the court arguing with the ref when we had actually gotten a turnover, and he had to come back because he was so worried about talking to the refs. He wasn't in the game, and that is, you got to watch out for that. So, what about the second half of this? Buddy isn't ready, but he's improving. What do you think?
I think
he
it's
comes
just
into
going
the
to
game shooting 25% from three. Coach puts him in to shoot threes. Does Buddy have? Is Buddy more entitled?
It's 25% because of the bad numbers early.
Right.
I think more recently he's been better in the ACC play. If you look at the numbers, it's probably a little bit better. And honestly, I think it's just going to be a matchup thing, like you said. I mean, Battle played 40 minutes, so there's going to be those main couple guys that are going to play a bunch of minutes. But we have options, like you said, a bunch of options where we can go big, we can go small, and we can go shooters-wise. So I think, again, it's just going to come down to matchups. If he thinks that the offenses out there are too good for Buddy to be out there, and he thinks that he might be a defensive liability or something, he might not play him. But if it's something where he thinks he can go in there and spread the defense out and make a couple outside shots and actually be a threat, then I can see him doing that. So,
and me personally, I don't think there's a problem with it. There's some people saying that Buddy's a little entitled because he's the coach's son. He gets more playing time than he should because he's not that good. But his players can vouch for him, and Coach said, he was knocking everything down in practice. And like I said, man, practice good, play good. I mean, that's what coaches look at. That's why you have practice. You see how the guys are doing.
He shot 4 or 5.
Yeah, he only shot the ball 5 times. That's another thing to point out. It's not like he's just hucking them up to just see if they fall. And he shot 80%. So I don't think there's an argument there, Steve, really. But Steve,
right.
he's really good. He comments a lot, and he's pretty solid though most of the time.
Well, yeah. I mean, it just comes down to if you can be a threat. If you're going to be consistently shooting threes, then the other team has to put somebody out there on you, which helps your offense, even if you're not making the shots, because they have to be on you. And then there's the other question is his defense, and he got a steal. He didn't look like he really got beat too many times. It looked like he played pretty good defense, and obviously the effort was out there. So as long as he's not a defensive liability and he's out there and he's an offensive weapon who can actually make some shots when he's open, then he's going to get playing time, especially if other players aren't hitting the shots.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. He said himself the speed of the game was taking time for him to adjust to that, and he knows that it's going to take time, and that was him, by the way, at the end of the montage.
Yeah, at the end.
All right, Anthony on Facebook says, solid performance, especially with the concern of a post-Duke letdown. That's something I was worried about. I was worried about coming in. We talked about it in the last episode, Joe, being kind of, still high from that Duke win coming in and just, not focusing on Pitt. But it didn't happen. And in fact...
Well, no. And that's why I was glad to see Tyus Battle, actually react the way that he did, because that was going to be the main thing to look forward to. At the end of the day, it looks like everyone else feeds off of him, so he really can't start off slow. He can start off a little slow, but he can't have a bad overall game. There's at some point he's got to turn the switch on, and he's got to get people going,
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to break real quick from fan feedback because we've actually got Isaiah Stewart is about to announce. So
live.
I can bring in the feed. So let's see what we got. Let's see how long this takes first. Maybe we'll have to cut it short.
6'9", 245, 5-star center, number 2 center in the ESPN 100. He is down to Duke, Michigan State, Syracuse, Kentucky, and Washington. Before we get to that, what's it like being a top 5 player and just all the attention that comes along with that?
Oh, man, it's great. I've been working so hard, and, it's starting to pay off, and I'm just thankful. I always thank the man upstairs every night. I pray to God, and, I'm just staying on this path he got laid out for me. And, I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying the ride.
All right, let's welcome up mom and dad here for this big announcement. Again, hundreds of people around us here for this announcement. You have whittled it down
Here we go.
from a lot to 5.
Yes.
Now it's time to whittle from 5 to 1.
Yes, sir.
It's all yours. Isaiah Stewart, where are you headed?
Oh, man. I just, first of all, before I say where I'm headed, I just want to thank all the colleges that recruited me and, that spent time and came up to see me. And
all right, come on, buddy.
Next year,
let's do this.
I'll be attending University of Washington.
Oh, get the freak out of here, Hopkins. Stole a recruit.
The Washington
right,
Huskies
well,
nab Isaiah Stewart. Why the Huskies?
All right, well, we can drop that feed. Oh, dude.
That would have been a big one.
Oh, no. Oh, that sucks. I got to be honest. I thought we were getting him hands down.
I don't know about hands down, but
I thought I liked our chances. Okay, can I be a little bit hyperbolic, Joe, without you jumping on me right now? I'm emotional. Okay.
Wow.
Golly, you're such a asshole sometimes.
Sorry, I don't feel emotions.
I know you don't.
On to the next one.
Because you're an asshole.
I'm
Jeez.
not. I'm not. It's just, it's just a high school kid, man. There's going to be other ones.
Yeah, we got John Bolajok,
I mean, it's just...
We got another one out there, too, anyway.
I hate to see that we're losing these guys, so,
You think?
To Hopkins.
To Hopkins, yeah, because he'd have been the one recruiting him for us. So
He was the one recruiting.
I know, and if he was here, he'd have still been.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, I don't know why you decided to double down on the point I was making. I'm glad we agree.
Sometimes.
Where was I?
Who knows?
Lauren says, Brissett needs to up his game. Kind of disappointed with him this year. Battle came out mean mugging, but still on point. Huge game for Boeheim. And, of course, Mark is my fave, so he does no wrong. By the way, everything she says there, let me see. Brissett needs to up his game. Yes. Battle came out mean mugging. He ended up mean mugging. Let's put it that way. Big game for Boeheim. Yes. Mark, fan fave. Yes. Mark knows the crowd loves him, by the way. He made a comment about that. And he says, the crowd loves me. I think that's a direct quote. So yes, the crowd loves Mark. We love Mark. Everybody loves Mark. And why? Because the dude has got hustle. You got hustle, you got me. That's all I got to say.
Because he will take a charge from Zion.
Basically. If Coach Dino is looking for a solid backup QB for Tommy DeVito, maybe he should ask Mark. He made some sweet passes to his teammates that scored points. Yeah.
I don't know.
Some nice passes, man. I don't know if he's can he be a little bit hyperbolic, Joe? Can he exaggerate to emphasize a point or no?
Nope.
Oh my
I can't believe you even picked that one.
Nobody likes you.
I know you're talking to yourself. Stop talking to yourself, bro.
And here's the bonus. And this is just icing on the cake for me because, I wasn't going to pick on Joe. I don't feel like bad, picking on Joe or anything. But his mom, Nancy, we got her right here. She says, great win for the Cuse. Looked like they're getting better every week. Yes. Maybe I should do the show with her because I think she's probably way nicer than you. So I highly doubt I'll be telling her on air that I hate her or she's an asshole. I highly doubt that will happen. And it would save me grief. And I'll bet you she's punctual and she can start the show on time. Right? What do you think?
I think all those things are correct. I really can't argue any of that. So,
golly, you are something else, bro. You are something else. All right. Well, thanks for everybody who participated in the fan feedback, and thanks for making social media a blast for me and Joe to get on there and see your comments and being involved. And you guys make the show. And I know there's new listeners all the time because I see the numbers. So get on there, join the militia, have some fun. There is no censorship unless you're being like degrading or rude to someone. Other than that, you say whatever the hell you want. I don't care. I really don't. All right, Joe. So Miami's coming to the Dome this Thursday. What is it? January 24th. And they are going to be playing a game at 8 o'clock. Syracuse holds the lead in the all-time series with Miami at 18-8. The first time the two teams met was in 1963. Syracuse upset them. The Hurricanes were favored, and their star Rick Barry was playing for them at the time, 86-85 in overtime. And Syracuse was led by Dave Bing. He had 29 points in that game for the Orangemen. This Miami team will come into the Dome, however, at 9-8 overall, 1-4 in the ACC, and they sit at 93 in the net rankings. This squad, this is a quad 3. Game, so this is kind of a must-win. We don't need any more of these. I guess their best win, looking at their schedule, maybe against Wake Forest. That's their only conference win. But they do have 5 guys averaging double digits, led by the likes of Chris Likes. You like how I did that? You see what I did there?
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, thank you. He pulled... Really, Joe? Fart noises? Oh my gosh. He ruined the show. He ruined the whole thing. He pulls in 18.1 points a game, a determined player, a squirrely little guy. He's only, I think he's my height.
5'7".
Yeah, I mean, I'm taller than him. I'm like 5'8" and an eighth. Okay?
Okay. Yeah,
The least efficient guy in that group that's scoring double digits, those 5, is Zach Johnson. He is shooting 42.9% from the field. As a team, they shoot 46 from the field, 36.5 from 3, and 71.9 from the line. So they don't look horrible on paper, Joe. What else should we expect? I mean, their record stinks, and they've gotten beat by some pretty mediocre teams. So,
yeah. That's basically been their problem, is they haven't been consistent. I know that they had a couple guys that got hurt. They really only go 7 deep. And again, I mean, they started off 5-0, then they go on a stretch where they lose to Seton Hall by 2 in neutral court, then they lose to Rutgers by 3 at home, then they lose to Yale by 4 at a neutral court, and then they lose at Penn by 14. So that's just all non-conference stuff. They go 5-4 from there. Then they finish off the non-conference with 3 more wins to go 8-4. But then after that, I mean, the start of the ACC play, they lost to NC State, lost at Louisville, lost at Florida State. Their only win is a game against Wake Forest, who is, by pretty much everyone's account, the worst team in the ACC this year. So, and that was an 11-point win at home. So. They've just struggled. I mean, the last 12 games, they're 4-8. They haven't won an away game, a true away game. And again, I mean, you look back at their best win, and it was the Wake Forest win. So, again, just a game we have to win. And pretty much every team that has been better than them that they've played has beat them. So, and like you talked about, Chris Likes, sophomore guard, is their best player, but they do have some other guys that are pretty good. They got 3 seniors with Abuka Uzundu and Zach Johnson and Anthony Lawrence. And then an Anthony Mack is a 6'6" freshman who starts. And then they have the Dejan Vasiljevic. I don't even know.
Names come here to die, brother.
Yeah, I know, but he's a junior, so he's, their guard there, who's a really good 3-point shooter who's beaten us in the past. So this is a scary game as far as they do have a pretty decent offense, 60 adjusted overall, 60th in KenPom. So they have a decent offense, but their defense really isn't that good. So as long as we can continue to play consistent offense and the offense that we've been playing the last couple of games, and I think we should be okay. And, defense as well. I mean, we've seen what we can do, and if last couple of games just come out and play like that, we should be fine. But Miami is a team that can hit threes, and, they are going to come out and they are going to play hard. So,
Yeah, they're not going to. I mean, when we look at the paper and you look and you're like, man, they got some guys that can score. They've got not only that, but they shoot very well, similar to Pitt. Now, Pitt, we held. They were shooting around 46% from the field. We held them to 34%. So, the zone does that. So we've got to rely on the defense, and it's not an unwinnable game, but it's one of those dangerous games where you got the guys. If someone can get hot from three, then what do you do? Because that's kind of our Achilles heels.
This team.
Yeah,
that's what scares me with this team is because they're not really that tall. Azundu, their center, who's 6'10", senior, he's pretty tall, and then they have a 6'10" guy, Sam Wardenberg, 6'10" sophomore that comes off the bench. That's really all their height. Other than that, Anthony Lawrence is 6'7", and he's a guard. So, they don't have that many big guys, and I think that they actually shoot the three better than Pitt does as a team. So that's what kind of scares me is if they can figure out the movement and actually get some good open three-point shots, especially, like I said, that Vasiljevic has he's made threes against us and scored a decent amount of points against us in the past.
Yeah, we know that name.
Yeah,
he shoots 44% from three, so he averages about 17 minutes a game, 30.9 minutes a game. So,
he plays a lot, about 12 points a game. So he's gonna probably hit 3, 4, 5 threes anyway.
If he gets hot though, he'll keep taking them, and if he keeps making them, he's gonna keep taking them. Make them take them.
So I just hope that they don't out rebound with that height. We should be able to out rebound them and. Again, just hopefully playing good enough defense and getting out to their shooters. And, we should be okay as long as we just don't blow it, man.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we will get back here at the earliest possible time, I suppose, after the Thursday's game. So we're not usually used to recording. We haven't had a Thursday game yet, so it's a little different, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of a random night.
Yeah,
but
it is what it is. We usually record on Thursday, so
got to get it done, man. It'd be nice to be 14-5, 5-1 in the ACC.
It'd be excellent because the next stretch, if you just want a real quick glimpse at the next stretch that we're going to have to go through, after Miami, it's Virginia Tech, Boston College, back to Pitt. It's a quick turnaround.
3 straight away games.
Yeah, all those are away. Correct. Sorry. And then back at home versus Florida State, back at home versus Boston, and then going to NC State. Joe, you're going to that game, right?
Yeah, I'm going to try.
All right. Well, thank you to Armchair All-Americans, Tick Splits, My Bookie, JP Mulligan's, Shoppingtown Barbershop. You guys, of course, I thank you guys all the time. I'm thankful for you guys listening and participating on social media.
Man.
Screw you. Screw you tonight. No thanks to Joe tonight. No thanks to Joe tonight. Oh my gosh, this guy.
I don't know what your anger's about.
This guy couldn't even put together the quad system for me. By the way, damn,
dude, we should have
remembered. We should have remembered to say this. Notre Dame slipped to a quad 2 game. The Pitt game was a quad 2 game. So we sit at 3-2 in quad 2 and 2-1 in quad 1. That's how it stands right now. So we'll come back with the full list again. Well, actually, I don't know. We'll see because they don't update it every day like I had been told. So we'll just have to see what happens. But anyways, thanks everybody. Yeah, we'll just wait, see what happens. Thanks everybody for listening. Appreciate you guys so much, especially you overseas listening. Thank you. And that is all.
Yes, sir.
More Cuse Militia podcast is inevitable. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Cuse Militia podcast, the fan's voice with Sean and Joe.